I came to university, like Dee said, in 1989. My first association was in that year with Macquarie. My current responsibilities are around student administration. I much prefer the student times. They were very good times. My parents didn't go to university. Not many of my friends went to university. And arriving at university in 1989, it was quite a strange place for me. I was a little bit anxious, but did get here and did go okay. The other problem I had was that Macquarie was exactly halfway to the beach. And so coming down Ebbing Road on my motorbike, I did have to make a decision whether I'd turn up and learn or whether I'd go for a swim. One of the things that I could have done better is engage with the help that was provided and asked questions. And so one of the things that I would like to impress on you tonight is just that there are opportunities to get help and ask questions. And the starting place to ask questions is Student Connect. So Sherman mentioned Student Connect in his talk. Student Connect is the central inquiry service. The way that you get to them is through ask.mq.edu.au, so online, on the telephone, or you can turn up in the space where they are and ask questions. Student Connect answer over 100,000 questions a year, and they're very equipped to assist you. They're not the only place you can ask questions. Questions can be obviously asked to your mentors and some of the other spaces that Sherman mentioned. The other thing to mention is that Macquarie's divided into 4 faculties. There's a Faculty of Arts, a Faculty of Human Sciences, a Faculty of Science, and a Faculty of Business and Economics. And the kind of questions specifically associated with your course can be directed to the faculty service centres in those faculties. So you can ask anything to Student Connect and we can get it to the right people, but in some cases you will go to the faculty centres as well. So please ask questions. Brad should have done that when he first got here. My first year wasn't entirely successful, but I did return and have a great time. You have asked some questions tonight, and so I'm going to just tackle a few of them. So there are a few recurring questions that came with registration. Not surprisingly, parents ask questions about money when it's associated with their children. My oldest boy starts at uni this year. It's good to know what kind of investment he's making or I'm making towards his education. If you're a domestic student, so if you're an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, then you will be in a Commonwealth-supported place. What does that mean? It means that the Commonwealth subsidise the cost of your tuition. So your tuition costs an amount and it's subsidised. The remaining amount is the contribution that you pay. So there's an amount that you will owe. Now you can do a couple of things with that amount. You can pay it on the due date, on the 28th of February, and you will receive a 10% discount. Or you can defer it to a HEX help loan. We've started to move into acronyms. It's getting confusing, isn't it? HELP, Higher Education Loan Program. So if I choose to, I can defer the cost that I owe the university to the tax office, and that debt will be managed through the tax office and reported to you every year. So you'll get a notice from the tax office of an accumulated debt, but you don't need to pay it up front. All we need from you is your tax file number. So, Commonwealth supported place. How much do I have to pay? The same enrolment tool that you would have logged into to accept your offer, and if you've done some enrolment, enrol in some units, so eStudent it's called, in the same space, there's a navigation bar on the left-hand side, My Finances. Once you're enrolled, if you click on My Finances, you can see the breakdown of the costs for the units that you're enrolled in. So payments are associated with a session at a time, and that due date would be the due date for payments for units that you're enrolled in this session. You may notice that the unit costs vary. That's because the government put them in different funding clusters. So some units will cost more than other units according to national priorities. Simple? Maybe, maybe not. The two things that are important there are those 2 dates. The 28th of February is your first option to pay up front. The 31st of March is the census date for Session 1, and Sherman mentioned that. For a range of reasons, students may either vary their enrolment or may choose to lessen their enrolment and withdraw from some units. If you're thinking about withdrawing from units, it's important to do that prior to census. If you withdraw prior to census, then there's no fee liability. After census, there is a fee liability. There is an exception to that. There are some cases where students encounter some disruption after census. So studying, really engaged with the unit, encounter some disruption that prevents them from completing the unit. In those cases, come and seek help from us, and we can help you and obviously have your money remitted to you. A couple of the other questions that came through were related to success. Some of us won't succeed in some of the units that we choose. That's okay in some respects. You can continue on. The important thing is that we find out why, and again, that you seek help to support you. A couple of other questions around credit for previous studies. So some of you may have done some studies somewhere else. If you have completed a TAFE diploma or a higher award, come and see Connect, and you may get some credit for that study. They're the main things that people were asking questions about. I have an opportunity, as I look at the clock, to just open up the group for other questions that they may wish to ask me.
If you've paid up front before the 28th of February, and then you make your changes to the units, which you say vary in cost, you make that adjustment, do you, even though it's
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic question. Everyone heard that question, didn't they? Yeah. So the due date for the new unit is the day that you make the change, the enrolment date. So we'll make that adjustment, absolutely. Yeah.
Hello, just a clarification question.
Sure.
People have been talking about enrolment days. I'm here because my son's starting this year, and he's not with us tonight, unfortunately. But he tells me he's enrolled online and already has his timetables sorted. Nobody's actually talked about that tonight. Should he be concerned? Does he need to come in as well? I mean, has he misunderstood what he was supposed to do?
Thank you for the question. Excellent question. No, he should be congratulated. He's done everything right. There are fundamentally 3 steps to enrolling. There's accepting your offer, which he will have done. There's then registering for enrolment, which provides you some information about next steps. And then there's the enrolling. So what he will have done is accepted, registered. And when he registered for enrolment, he will have been informed that there are a number of courses that can be enrolled online. And he will be in one of those. So he's done everything that he ought to. He can still come on campus to lots of the other support activities, but he doesn't need to. Not all courses can be enrolled online. So the mechanism to do the unit enrolment is an online tool, so it's online, but some courses we require students to come to an on-campus day and have a session with an academic advisor. Some of the programs aren't as clearly prescribed or aren't as prescribed, and the academic members in those faculties have decided that it's best to have a conversation with students about their proposed program in the first year. So as they're beginning their study, a conversation is a good way for them to start. As they progress and enrol in future years, all online.
Just a quick one. Tax file numbers. When my daughter registered, she didn't have a TFN. She now has one.
Yep.
What should she do with it?
She should send it to us. So she can contact Student Connect and they'll advise her how to provide that. That's fine. Yeah, and we don't need to get that until the 31st of March. So she's all good. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm very encouraged by your attendance here. I wish you a very fruitful association with Macquarie University. Thank you.